and got ready to take him to the hospital. Jack had mysteriously reappeared. So we all got in the car and left. After taking the monster hunter to the hospital, we went back to Hiram and Fireman's office to see if he had any idea where we could start looking for a vampire. He showed us a map of where most of the slayings had occurred, then told us to get out there and get that story. Hiram wasn't in the best of moods, which a young busboy soon found out. He brought Hiram his midday meal and thought he'd get a tip out of it, but not Hiram. So we arrived at the place where Hiram told us to go to look for the vampire lady's hideout. It was an old construction yard. So we made our game plan. And then went in separate directions. We looked all over. And Jack was looking all over too. When suddenly nausea hit him again. Seems the vampire lady found that we were getting too close to her hideout, so she put the spell of the werewolf back on Jack so he'd stop us before we got there. Again, Jack said he wasn't feeling good and was going for a walk, and gave us the bag of stakes, crosses, and silver bullets. Then Jack went behind a tree. And emerged as a werewolf. Then he stalked after us. Then he attacked. I was so scared I flashed my camera right in his face, and it scared him off for a minute. Then Frank started asking me why I was flicking my Bic, and I told him to give me the torch and I'd show him. So then Frank scared the werewolf off with the lit torch. Well, we decided since we'd scared the werewolf off, he might lead us to the vampire lady's hideout. So we followed behind him. At a safe distance. Finally, we came to a small wooded area. And there was a clearing where the vampire lady was giving the werewolf a real talking to. I started to sneeze, but Frank stopped me. Then I started again, but he couldn't stop me. And they heard. And she sent the werewolf after us. So we got out of there pretty quick. Then I took a can of fleas and threw them on the werewolf. He started scratching and I ran away. By this time, Frank was cornering the vampire lady with a stake and a cross. But she turned into a bat. So I shot her with my raid. She got sick and fell to the ground and turned back into a vampire lady. But the werewolf was still coming after us. I accidentally tripped over an old well and shot him with a silver bullet. He fell to the ground, and Frank and I stared in amazement as he slowly changed back into human form. And became Jack, our cub reporter. We didn't know it, but the vampire lady was coming up behind us. She might have got us too. But the vampire hunter got out of the hospital and saved us just in the nick of time with a bow and arrow. We were sure that no monsters would ever dare come around here again, since we'd vanquished both of them. Before our very eyes, the vampire lady turned into dust. And so, having vanquished the monsters, we rejoiced.